Hi guys, and welcome to Magic. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a report API backend endpoint, which is probably for some of you maybe the most complex task in regards to creating reports. Here I have a Magic cloudlet that I've created through Hub. There's a link in the description of this YouTube video to where you can reproduce what I'm doing. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to create/SQL Studio. Now, I have already installed Chinook here, but if you want to, you can actually find it under create/databases, and you can choose to install Chinook down here as one of the plugin databases. Now, of course, you can create reports towards any database you might happen to have, regardless of where that database is, by simply connecting to that database. Choose your database type, PostgreSQL, MySQL, or SQL Server. Give your connection string a name, foo, and then paste in your connection string here. Yet again, as I've said in previous videos, it's very, very important that the catalog name of the database is like this yet again. Why? Because Magic reads metadata from your database connection strings, and it needs the capacity to create a connection string towards any arbitrary database within that database connection string of your choice. When you have tested your connection, you can connect, and then you get a connection string for down here and all that beautiful stuff. However, what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to click create. I'm going to because I've already installed the Chinook database, I'm going to be using the Chinook database in this video. Then I'm going to click create, and I'm going to go to endpoint generator, and instead of just like generating my endpoints automatically here, which gives me CRUD endpoints, I'm going to go to SQL Endpoint Generator. So what is SQL Endpoint Generator? Well, it's actually the ability to write any SQL here, right? So I can write select all from, yet again, autocomplete, function control space on a Mac or control space on Windows, and get autocomplete on tables, album A, where a dot, and you also get autocomplete on columns. Now, before I actually create my report, I'm going to go to create, I'm going to go to SQL Studio, I'm going to choose my Chinook database, then I'm going to click SQL view, important, and then I'm going to load an example script. You see, when I'm installing the Chinook example plugin database, it gives me a bunch of Chinook related SQL snippets. For instance, here is aggregate artists album count. Right, so let's click on this guy and let's just execute it. And what this guy basically does, it returns the count of albums sorted according to that the artist with the most albums is coming up first. Here you can see Iron Maiden has credited 21 albums, Led Zeppelin 14, Deep Purple 11, Metallica 10, etc., etc. And then it returns a limit of 25 of the top album counts. So basically this is any SQL, right? So whatever you can do in SQL, you can actually do here. Now I remember the name of my script, right? Aggregate artist album something. Then I can go to create, then I can go to endpoint generator, then I can click SQL generator, and I can click snippets. Ta-da! And here I find Chinook, aggregate, etc., etc., and ta-da! I'm almost done with my endpoint. However, if you need for some reasons to, for instance, apply filtering, right? Let's say you need to parameterize your endpoint somehow. Well, from album AL, comma artist AR, where AL.artistID equals AR.artistID, and at filter, let's write AR dot name like filter. Now I actually am referencing an argument in my SQL. However, I've still not created that argument. So let's create that argument. Let's just copy this guy, new argument. Let's create write filter, and I want my argument to be of type string. I'm saving the argument. Then I want to give my endpoint a URL. I want to call it Chinook /artist -album -count, and I'm going to copy this one just for later purposes. And then I choose my method, post, get, put, delete, patch. For this particular endpoint, get is probably the best one, and I'm done. Generate endpoint. If I now open up in a different browser window, click Manage, and I click Endpoints, and I open it up in a different browser window, and I filter here. Ta-da! Here's my endpoint. And here I can see metadata about the endpoint, and I can also click this little arrow here to invoke my endpoint. Then I can apply a filter. Now, if you remember, the original result set had L for Led Zeppelin. Okay, filter equals to try it out. Led Zeppelin, Lost, Legia Urbano, Lulu Santos, etc. Lenny Kravitz. If I write A here instead, A, and percent, important, right? Because this is the wildcard character for SQL. I get Audioslave, AC/DC, Accept, Aerosmith, etc., etc. And I now actually have an endpoint. And if I now go back here, let me just demonstrate this by completely turning off authorization and choosing overwrite here and click generate again. Sorry, I can't actually do it from here. So let me go into HyperID instead, click HyperID, and then find modules, find Chinook, and then paste in such that you're filtering your Hyperlambda files. Click on this guy and just remove the authorization here, line 9. Save the file, Alt-S on Windows, Option-S on the Mac, and then I can go to then I can actually just refresh here and paste in here. I'm not entirely sure if this actually refreshes. Yes, it might not refresh the authorization requirements. However, it doesn't matter. Authorization is now turned off. Then I can write %, try it out. And I can now actually copy the URL and open the URL in a separate browser window, and ta-da, here's my result sets. So I now have a publicly exposed endpoint on this particular cloudlet that allows me to create reports, if you wish. If I exchange the A character here with L, I'm back to Led Zeppelin, right? If I exchange it with, I don't know, B, I'm getting Berlin Harmonic or blah, 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 Black Label Society, Black Sabbath, etc., etc. So now all I gotta do is to actually create a front end where I'm extracting this data, possibly creating some sort of like JS chart, E-chart thing showing like charts and stuff to the end user. But the backend parts of my code is completely done. And notice I did it entirely exclusively by actually writing SQL. I didn't need to know C#. I didn't need to know Hyperlambda. In fact, I barely needed to know SQL because I could use these example scripts that, you know, create some sort of like aggregated result for me. And I just click the button and boom, that's it. So anyways, that's how you create a report HTTP Web API backend using Hyperlambda and Magic. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share the video with your friends. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.